Hello there, people of the internet. Let's go ahead, since I'm out here at this new gun range, already made a video about this new gun range if you want to go check it out. I'm out here with a very finite amount of stuff because I have to walk out here, and it is a public gun range, so you are going to hear gunfire going on in the background around me. So let's talk about, since I have these out here, the benefits of 9mm. Oh boy, isn't this going to be such an exciting video? Nobody has ever done anything like this before. 9mm is just such an uncommon cartridge, right? But the benefits of 9mm. So yeah, that's what I have out here. So guess what? That's what we're going to go ahead and film. So I think that one of the biggest benefits of 9mm, in my personal opinion, I think that this is a huge pro for 9mm, way beyond like what you would get in terms of pros for like 5.56 or 7.62 by 39 or an actual rifle cartridge, is that you can use 9mm in a carbine and in your handgun. So both of these are chambered in 9mm, and a lot of times you can even get these that are going to have a magazine compatibility along with ammunition compatibility, since they're both chambered in 9mm. And that is going to simplify your logistics immensely. I know that in my particular situation with what I'm dealing with, resources are very limited. So if you want to help me make content like this, then I got links to Patreon and Utreon down below. I got merchandise, so you can do a one-time donation through the merchandise webpage there, or you can just subscribe to the channel. That would definitely help out a lot. If you like this kind of content, then subscribe, because you're among the right crowd and we do this sort of thing all the time. So 9mm, both carbine and handgun, ammo compatibility, sometimes even magazine compatibility. It's a really good, economically, logistically positive way to do things. So on top of that, 9mm is more powerful than you think. So a lot of people go into the comments and they tell me that 9mm is not very powerful, especially out at long ranges. Well, I did some math before, and I can't remember if it came out to 100 yards or 200 yards or 300 yards. I think it was the 300 yard mark where a 124 grain mil-spec 9mm full metal jacket round will actually decrease in velocity from a carbine barrel to be the same amount of energy transfer on target as as a 22 long rifle at the muzzle. So a lot of people tell me don't underestimate 22 long rifle. It is plenty powerful. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you don't underestimate 9mm, because it's as powerful as 22 long rifle at, I believe, either 200 or 300 yards. I can't remember off the top of my head, but either way, that's a significant touching out distance for a handgun cartridge. Yeah, that's definitely, absolutely 110% not something that I would want to get hit by. It's not exactly an armor-piercing round, but most things that you're going to be shooting at aren't going to be wearing armor. If you're shooting at something wearing armor, then you need to reconsider what it is that you're doing, because that is a bad idea. So 9mm is definitely more powerful than people give it credit for. However, it's not, like I said, not exactly a rifle cartridge, so just bear that in mind. But it's powerful enough to do the things that most people need to do, unless you're going, big game hunting or something like that, in which case 9mm is probably not what it is that you want. However, if you're just using it for defensive purposes, game gathering, shooting at a gun range, something like that, the 9mm makes a fantastic little cartridge. Not only is it more powerful than a lot of people give it credit for, but it's also not all that expensive. I know one of these boxes, I'm just running like dirt cheap bulk full metal jacket 115 grain 9mm ammunition. One of these cost me about $15 to get for a box of 50. Not very expensive at all. Now, during panic buying times, I know we got an election coming up, we might see some things click off to where ammunition prices go up, but they'll eventually go back down, and we just see these fluctuations of ammunition prices, especially with 9mm. Whenever people want 9mm and they start panic buying ammunition, prices go way up. But in good times, whenever there's nothing really going on, prices are way down, because supply is way up and demand is way down. So prices of 9mm ammunition tends to not be all that much. In my particular case, $15 gets me a box of 50, and sometimes even less than that if I decide to buy ammunition in bulk. So it's cheap to shoot, it's powerful, you can have it in multiple platforms, and it's more accurate than people give it credit for. On my YouTube channel right now, you can look this up. I did a 9mm accuracy test with this exact carbine, and I took it out to about 100 yards. I got about a 3.5-inch group at 100 yards, and for 9mm full metal jackets, the dirt cheap ammo that I was running, that's pretty gosh darn good. So 3.5-inch group, that's 3.5 MOA. That's the same accuracy that most of your military surplus rifles are going to see. Granted, a lot of them are more accurate than that 3 MOA accuracy, but that was basically the standard of accuracy, 3 to 5 MOA for most of your military surplus rifles. So if you think a military surplus rifle is accurate enough, then something like a 9mm carbine should be accurate enough, assuming that you have a 9mm carbine that is actually accurate. This particular one is actually doing very, very well. So accurate, powerful, cheap, multiple platforms that you can run these things in. 9mm is also one of the most available cartridges in the world, especially here inside the United States. If you're in a comm block country, then that might be a little bit different. Maybe it's something like 9mm Makarov for you, or 7.62 Tokarev. Maybe your setup is a little bit different than ours, but here in the United States, basically every gun store has 9mm. Go ahead and go get yourself some. So availability, add that to the list. There is also a dramatic variety of ammunition out there that goes a dramatic variety of different velocities. If you want yourself like a 90 grain projectile that goes super fast, they have those out there. Or if you want like a really heavy 147 grain, I think I've only seen up to 147 grain. I've heard of heavier rounds than that for 9mm, but 147 grain is, I think, the heaviest cartridge I've ever seen in person. But there's a variety of different projectiles out there that you can get for 9mm. And there's also a variety of different pressures in these cartridges that you can get depending on what it is that your firearm is capable of handling. If you get yourself a 9mm plus P plus round, then there is one seriously spicy 9mm, and you want to make sure that your firearm can handle those kind of pressures. But if it can, then you have yourself an incredibly powerful, potent cartridge. So there's a dramatically large variety of different kinds of ammunition out there whenever it comes to the 9mm platform. It is just such a good, prolific round that can do so many things, and people just always push it towards the self-defense platform. And it is just way, 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 way more than just self-defense. I have used literally this 9mm carbine for a good variety of different practical applications. Definitely have a good time, I tell you what. Some guy just drove by in a Jeep, and I tell you what, that was awesome. I have no idea how he made it through there, but that was awesome. So all this being said, I'm gonna go ahead and send some 9mm full metal jackets downrange. One of the reasons why I picked bringing 9mm out here is simply because of the economic nature of 9mm. It's everywhere, and it's not very expensive, and it still has quite a bit of power behind it. So yeah, that is all really, really good attributions to why I picked 9mm coming out here, because, well, things are a little tough right now, and my resources are incredibly limited. So a few rounds of 9mm is basically all I can afford to send downrange. But it is enough going downrange to appease you guys and for me to enjoy myself. Let's send some lead. I don't really have a target out there. I've just been kind of shooting things and making them bounce around the ground. Actually, there's a television, like right there. I'm gonna shoot at that. Let me turn this camera some so y'all can see that. There we go. Can y'all see the television now? It's right there. I have no idea if y'all can see that or not. I checked the screen on the camera, but there's a bush right behind you guys. So, once again, bush is ruining everything. Let's do it. I don't really know where I'm going to shoot on the TV. I'm just kind of sending lead through it. Okay, well, there we go. I hit it a couple of times with our carbine, and now one of the big benefits of 9mm, now that I've exhausted my carbine, I can go ahead and pull out my handgun. Same cartridge, same everything, but now in a different platform. So I can show off 2 different platforms on the channel and hit that television with 2 different firearms using the same ammunition. Granted, handgun, less velocity, shorter barrel, etc., etc. But I tell you what, that's still a lot of fun. Okay, I think I've made my point with this particular video, so I'm going to say thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below has a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I will see you guys in the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.